how to give a man space so he misses you. So many people, so many women, unfortunately, have this misconception that in order to get a guy, they have to come closer. They have to make him feel something, make him want them in some way. And thereby, they have to do something to make him want her. And the paradox is this isn't always the case. Oftentimes, the way to draw him closer is actually to let him leave, to let him pull away and become distant in his own way. I'm going to go into exactly how this operates and what you can do to get the relationship you want with your man. So I'm Brody Boyd, if you don't know me already. For over 20 years combined with my wife, Antia, we've been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a loving, long-term, committed relationship with the man they want fast. So let's go ahead and dive into these powerful principles today. So what I'm excited about teaching is this idea of allowing a man to have space. It is so important. It is so key to get the relationship that you actually desire with a man that you want. So the way this principle operates is that men, the masculine energy is about getting filled up and then releasing, getting filled up and then releasing, just like in sex. So when a man is with you, and when he has become intimate with you in different ways, he's going to reach a boiling point at some point where he feels like it's enough. He needs to release. He needs time by himself. He needs to be at peace. And now it doesn't mean he doesn't care about you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't want a long-term committed relationship with you. But what it does mean is that that's his natural cycle. The coming close and the pulling away, the coming close and the pulling away, so to speak. So if you understand this principle, you are ahead of most women, because now you know how this cycle works, just like your cycles that you have as a woman every month, if you're in menopause or premenopause, that you have the hormonal cycles where you will get a release of sorts, and then you will get the buildup of your hormones being activated. And it's physically also your body letting go as well. So to understand the cyclical nature of relationships and the cyclical nature of men can help you to understand when he is pulling away. It doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't want a relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't love you. It doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't desire you and care about you. What it means is that he is also aware of his own body. He may not know this consciously, his own system as a man, and that he knows that once he's had enough, once he's had that buildup, once he's served you in some way, or he's been close enough to you in some way, then he's going to need to recollect himself as a man to build back his testosterone and build back his masculine self-esteem, his masculine sense of confidence. So to allow him to do that is going to be very important. So what does this look like in relationship? So what this looks like is, let's say you spent the weekend together with your man. You guys were intimate, maybe you were doing activities together, you were having conversations together, and then you notice on Monday comes around and you haven't heard from him all day. Maybe Tuesday comes around, you still haven't heard from him. Now, what a lot of women would do here is maybe start freaking out a little bit and saying, well, was I too much? Did I say something he didn't like? Was I a little bit too direct or argumentative or too this or too that? And analyzing their performance, which is masculine energy, because masculine energy is about performance. It's about perfection. It's about trying to achieve some outcome. And so that's the first mistake, is recognizing that you may be in masculine energy. Then what they will do is start reaching out to him to try to pull him back in, or at least by checking in with him to make sure everything's okay. So sometimes this could be less innocuous, when a woman will say something like, send him a joke, or hope you had a great weekend, or hope you're having a great week, or she'll mention something that they talked about during the weekend, just to kind of gauge the waters and see if she gets a response, which is fine. It's not the worst thing. Now, other women may actually start to fall off a cliff in an emotional sense, and they'll start to question whether he actually loves them, and they'll send some text or some messages such as, is everything okay? Or are you mad at me? Or What's going on? I haven't heard from you. And this isn't, again, the worst thing possible. But what will happen is then the man will have to justify and say, no, yes, everything's fine, or it's all good. And the woman probably won't get the answer that she wants anyways. And then what it leads to after that is likely more deep conversations over text, which is never a good thing. You want to have deep conversations in person is best, or over the phone would be second best. But then also it can lead to spiraling. It can lead to spiraling where then she starts questioning everything, or questioning if he's seeing another woman, or what his intentions are, where the relationship is heading. And so the spiral continues until it's turning into an argument, or he full on breaks up with her potentially because of the accusations, because of the mistrust, due to her own anxiety, to her own lack of understanding of this principle that I'm talking to you about here. So men need time to recollect. I actually originally got this principle from Dr. John Gray. He called it the rubber band theory. I don't know if he actually called it that, but he called it like it's like a rubber band when men pull away and they come back. And so what happens is that men need time by themselves. You might call it being in the bear cave. You might call it being in the man cave, or being in hibernation a little bit. And this can go on for a couple hours. It could go on for a couple days. It could go on for a couple weeks in some cases. Usually when it goes a couple days or a couple weeks, it's usually because, not just because he had his intimacy fill with you, but that there may have been some drama. Maybe there was some pressure he felt from you, or masculine energy where you were trying to control him or manipulate him or change him or treat him like a child, etc., disrespecting him. And so now he just really needs a break. He's like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to do anything that would further cause drama between us. So I'm just going to take some space. And again, this may not be something really bad. May not be something that is the death of the relationship. It just means he's recollecting himself. And then once he feels he's more collected, he's going to reach back out to you, or he's going to come back to you, and things will be fine. Things will be good. And he almost will pretend like nothing happened. He won't even really feel that anything happened, because it's just a cycle. He got his intimacy need, or he got his space that he needed, and now he's coming back and he's ready to reconnect with you. He's ready to fill you back up, so to speak. Again, not just in a sexual sense, although that's a great metaphor for this, but it's also, the emotional intimacy, the mental connection, the spiritual connection even. So he is recollecting, he's coming back. And so what's important for you to realize is that, yes, it is a big thing for men, especially the more masculine a man is, the more he's going to need some time by himself, whether it's chilling out, watching a football game and listening to radio like my dad did, or it is going in the garage and working on something, car project, whatever, or it may even be hanging out, going out in nature, going out to hopefully not the bar, or hanging out with some friends, because that's a slippery slope also. And I'm going to give you this caveat as well, that men oftentimes will pull away in unhealthy ways. That is possible. Men will pull away, and when they're pulled away, they will be doing bad behaviors like an addiction of some kind, or they will be out with their buddies doing things that they shouldn't. Maybe he is talking to other women. Now, this will happen more often if you're with a man in the beginning stages, when you're not exclusive, you're not married. Then he may, he can do whatever he wants. He's a free man, right? Because I believe also that the cyclical nature of this intimacy cycle can happen, especially outside of exclusive relationships, where a man may get filled up with you, but he may not necessarily get filled up with another connection or another relationship, another woman. And so that is a risk in the beginning, I would say. It's a risk, but we don't want to assume that that's what he's doing. Now, especially if he's a broken man, he's going to be more likely to do some of the negative behaviors when he pulls away. Maybe like addicted to video games or pornography or drugs or alcohol, other things. And so that's not good either. And so just because a man is pulling away, once you understand this cycle, it doesn't mean that you have to be just passive in this process, that you just have to surrender and just accept whatever he does. Although surrender is a great practice in general as a feminine woman. It's a great practice to be able to let go and detach from the outcome, detach from trying to control things or trying to control him, especially because the more you try to control him, the less likely he is to actually do what you want. So that's the paradox, especially the more masculine is, he's going to resist being controlled by you because it feels disrespectful. He doesn't like it. It's insulting to his masculine core. Just like for him to say that you're not beautiful or you're not attractive would be insulting to your feminine core. So you want to allow this space to happen, but it doesn't mean you have to be passive. So there's some things you can do while you're giving a man this space. You can, of course, focus on your self-care. That's a big process. Your self-care involves what you're doing here. You're investing in yourself, you're learning, you're getting educated, you're spending time with your health, with your other relationships that you have in your life, family, friends, community, church, maybe studying the Bible. That could be a really great practice to do, reading, and other hobbies and activities that you love. Going out in nature, going next to the water was really great to connect to your feminine essence. And so that's the first thing. When a man pulls away, you're practicing detaching from the outcome by bringing the outcome to yourself. You are the outcome. You are the source. You focus and plug your umbilical cord back into yourself and fill yourself up. And it could involve also affirmations, feminine affirmations. We teach a lot of those. And things like saying, I love you, rebuilding your love and connection with yourself, finding that sense of self again, the self-confidence, self-esteem through positive self-talk, but also things that are taking care of yourself, like your health and getting enough sleep and eating the right foods and whatnot, your daily habits, your weekly habits. And then the other key is once you're in that process and you're filling yourself up and he's in that pull away phase, it doesn't mean that you have to stop all communication. Now, a lot of people talk about the no contact rule, or if a man pulls away, you should just not send him anything. I agree to that to some extent. Yes, you want to give him space. You want to allow him to go to his bear cave, even if you feel anxious about it, even if you did do something that screwed it up. Maybe you did have an argument with him. Maybe you did say something disrespectful, or you were in your masculine energy trying to control him or mother him or manipulate him in some way. Well, you kind of have to sit with that. You sit with the discomfort of that, learn the lesson, learn what you'll do better next time, but it doesn't mean you have to necessarily be texting him and apologizing all the time and trying to get something back going. It's just like, let him have that space for now. Give it a little bit of time. Now, it's hard to say exactly how much time because it's different for every man. It's different for every relationship. It also depends on what happened. So I wouldn't give a solid rule of thumb, but I'd say generally 1 to 5 days is a good amount of time. It's like enough time where most men will get filled back up. They'll get reconnected with themselves. They'll fill back up, and they'll feel great to connect again with you. So that's a rough rule of thumb. And so then after that 5 days, of course, let's say at the max, maybe it could be a little longer. Again, this is not a hard rule. You can then come back to him in some sense. Not come back to him, but you can open your heart again to him. And that's the way I like to see reaching out to a man, is you opening your heart. You're sharing with him. You're signaling to him. You're not chasing him. You're not pursuing him. You're simply giving him a glimpse of what's going on inside of you. And connecting with your feminine core, you could also ask him for help and activate his hero instinct to be the man that you want him to be for you, to be your knight in shining armor, to be your king, your prince, your daddy. So ask him for help. That's another way you can do this. So what that would look like logistically is to simply first ask him to connect. So ask him for a phone call or ask him for a meeting. And you would do this respectfully in your feminine, in a vulnerable way. So you're speaking up, but you're also in your feminine way. That's what the queen does. And you would say, may I ask if we can talk on the phone when you're next available? Or you can add a little bit of fluff and you can say something like, I would love to reconnect with you, or I hope everything's going well. I would love to reconnect with you when you're next available. May I ask if we can talk on the phone? Or you can even just leave it at that. I would love to reconnect with you when you're next available. And just like leave it. You don't even have to make a direct request, because you basically put your desire out there. You put your heart, your feelings, your feminine energy is your feelings. You've done it respectfully, and you put it out there so that he can solve the problem. He can meet your desire, and he could want to help you with that. And so you ask for help in that way, for a phone call or an in-person meeting, because that's going to be much better than you having a long conversation with him over text, like, is everything okay? And or just saying like, how is everything, or how are you, or what's going on, or how's your day? And then it's a long text conversation. It's much better if you get on the phone or you get in person, because then you can use magnetic feminine communication, which will teach you how to have a magnetic feminine conversation. And then you really activate his masculine, and now he's back in your life. He's pursuing you again. He's excited again about you. So that's the way you would handle that at the end of that situation. And it's very important when you have that conversation with him. That's where it's really going to make all the difference. And so I would recommend getting some coaching on that, joining our coaching communities, taking our free quiz, because that's going to really get you to a place where you feel comfortable having these vulnerable, open dialogue conversations with a man, that he gets to feel your heart. He gets to feel you as a woman and get excited about that and want to discuss it, want to help you, want to be in your life, want to make you happy. So that's going to be the basic process. So remember, that space is not an evil thing. It's not the worst thing that can happen in a relationship. Part of your growth and your expansion and reconnection as a woman is learning that space is a good thing, actually. That space is allowing him to actually fall deeper in love with you. Men don't fall in love when they're with you. They fall in love when they are away from you, thinking about you. Because if you're always there, if you're always in his life, he actually can't think about you. He can't miss you because you're there. You're always available. So it's actually a good thing when he takes space, when he pulls away. And sometimes you may even want to encourage him. Take it to the next level and say, hey, babe, or don't call him babe. Say, hey, my prince. Don't call him prince either. My king. Hey, my hero. Hey, my lion. If you would like to go out in nature, or if you like to go on a hunting this weekend, or if you want to do this or that, whatever he likes to do, like, I'll be okay if you want to do that this weekend, and then we can hang out next weekend. So you give him permission that it's okay to take space. It's okay to pull away, quote unquote, that you're fine with it. Now you want this to be authentic. You don't want to be faking it. So get to a place where you can authentically detach from the outcome and realize that it's a gift, and realize that him being able to pull away, especially if you spent a lot of time together recently, or if you've had some rough moments, is actually going to be better for your relationship than just spending more time together when he may already be very filled up. Now he may say, no, babe, and he'll call you babe. That's much better. No, babe, no honey, no sweetie pie. I want to spend this weekend with you. I want to do this together. Like, it's all good. I'm good. So he might say that too. You give him permission. That's where you're detaching from the outcome. You commit to the process, but whatever the outcome is, you're okay with it. It's a spiritual practice. You want to get to that point inside of you. And that's what we help you with, especially with the deep inner work and magnetic feminine polarity, how to actually let go of that outcome so you can let him be free, so that he chooses you from his own sovereignty, which is where the relationship actually lasts, because it was his choice, not him being forced into it. All right, so if you want to take that to the next level, make sure to also take our free quiz, where we will customize this for you in your specific situation with your man and give you specific advice that I will provide for you on how to make the relationship you want happen with your man. So make sure to take that quiz by clicking the link in the description or comments below, or you can go to our website, magnetizeyourman.com, or it may depend on where you're watching this. You can click on our bio and get the link to that free quiz as well. Highly recommend if you haven't gone through that yet. Now, let's answer some questions that have come in, and I will help with that. So it's Juicy said, I believe this. Scarlett said, my boyfriend 2 months ago told me I need some time to process everything until now. Until now, I did not hear from him until now. Okay, maybe that was a double speak there. I send messages after 2 weeks and no reply. So your boyfriend of 2 months told you that he needs some time to process everything, and you did not hear from him until now. So I imagine you still haven't heard from him. You sent a message after 2 weeks with no reply. So after 2 weeks, like 2 weeks ago, is what I imagine. So 2 weeks ago, you sent him a message. He didn't reply. Now, this depends a lot on what kind of message you sent. If you sent some of those messages I mentioned earlier, such as, is everything okay? Or how are you? Or I miss you, things like that. Yeah, probably not going to bring him back closer to you. However, if you use magnetic feminine communication, likely he will be messaging you back right away. And now in extreme situations, when you haven't heard from a man for 2 months, because this is a little bit more than what I'm talking about here. If a man is pulled away for 2 months, that's a bit trickier. That means he's really detached and probably lost interest to some extent, and maybe he's broken. That could be a big part of it as well, usually. And so I do have some secret tools for that. We have our 7-word relationship revival text that you can send him that is pretty much guaranteed to get a response from him and restart the connection. So we have that. Again, you can find that by taking our free quiz that will lead you to our groups where you can get that. So we have that special text. We also have other tools, a whole nother process you can do that we call the big apology that you can do with him, but you have to do it in the right way. And we have scripts for how to do this. The first message you should send, and then when he responds and what to say back, and then how to have the conversation with him. And you need a little practice, a little preparation. But it's very powerful, and it can reset the relationship and bring him much closer to you and restart the connection. So I would highly recommend that, because without the specific correct ways of doing this, it's probably not going to go anywhere. Now, if you do, let's say hypothetically, you do use everything I'm teaching you here. You use magnetic feminine communication properly. You're in your feminine. You have detached from the outcome, et cetera, et cetera. We've coached you. We've helped you craft this for your specific situation based on what happened in the relationship. And he still doesn't respond back. Well, there is a case where he could be a broken man, and deeply broken sometimes, where he has trauma, he has issues, and he's just not capable of making you happy, of taking care of your heart. And it's about 10 to 20, I would say 10 to 15% of the population of men as well as women are deeply broken, and they're just not capable of being a good partner, and they're not going to, no matter what you do. So that could be possible. It'd also be possible that he just doesn't care about you. But typically it's more the case that he's broken in some way rather than he doesn't care about you. Although if there's a lot of bad blood in the relationship, there's bad things that have happened, he may also just be over it. He doesn't want to engage anymore. There's too much lack of trust, lack of respect, etc., and he's just over it. So that's a possibility as well. We'd have to see, but I would highly recommend taking our quiz, Scarlett, and we can help you with your specifics with that. All right, so Gail said, that's my problem. I like to drink and they pull away. That's my problem. I like to drink. Oh, it's weird. It seems like it's posting people's messages twice. I don't know why it's doing that or something. So you like to drink and then they pull away. So yeah, that can be definitely an issue. So there, like I said before, there may be something you did that caused him to pull away as well. Maybe you started an argument. Maybe you were looking through his phone and you accused him of something. You had a confrontation of some kind. Again, it's not the worst thing to have a confrontation. It's about how you have that confrontation. I wouldn't even call it confrontation. It's carefrontation. It's a magnetic feminine conversation with him, where you're sharing your feelings and what's going on for you and asking for help in a respectful, vulnerable way. So if you've done something that has pushed him away, if you have an addiction of your own, or you have some brokenness of your own that is pushing men away from you, then, well, we need to look at you and we need to start working on you as a woman. How can we help you to heal? How can we help you to reconnect to your feminine core so that you are magnetic? You are pulling men in rather than pushing them away. But there's also no judgment here, because everybody has something. Everybody has some issue they're dealing with, some brokenness. So it's not about being perfect. It's about, how do you handle that? Are you taking steps to get the healing that you may need? Like you're doing here, you're starting to do here with getting education, getting some coaching, getting some high quality training to fill yourself up. And so that's a good thing that a lot of men, quality men, are looking for. Like, are you taking steps to get better? Do you want to get better? Do you have life goals for yourself, for your personal growth, for your future? And also, are you able to handle those things? So when he asks you to do something, if he asks you not to drink so much or to stop talking to him like that, if you're talking to him disrespectfully and he says, don't talk to me like that, what do? Do you say, F you, I could talk to you however I want? Or like, are you getting really apologetic and turning into a people pleaser, and then you're walking on eggshells? Like, how you handle these situations determines if a man is valuing you or not, and if he's also willing to keep giving the relationship another chance. Like, a man is not going to stay in a relationship continually where he feels disrespected, or that it's not healthy for you, it's not healthy for him, or that he's being treated like a child or manipulated in some way, or that you are detached from your own emotions in the sense that you are hiding your emotions, you're distrustful, you're guarded, you're wearing your armor all the time. So there's a lot of things that can cause a man just to not feel your feminine core, to not be excited about the relationship, and to start pulling away for those reasons. So we want to look into that. We want to go deeper so that you can have the life and relationship that you ultimately desire. So Pamela said, interested in an avoidant and trying to understand more and more. Space is safe for him, and it's hard for me, but understanding the worth of being respectful. Yeah, so space is good for you. Just like I said, it's good for you and it's good for him. Now, it's especially good for you to see it as a gift to focus back on yourself, because if you're an anxious attachment, you have a tendency to lose yourself in the relationship. You have codependent patterns of attachment, likely. And so what's really good for you sometimes as an anxious is to actually be forced to spend some more time with yourself, to reconnect with yourself and actually heal yourself, heal thyself, and romance yourself. Like, one thing I used to do when I was single is I would take myself on dates. I know it sounds really weird as a guy saying this, but I had a dating coach that I'd hired, and he'd recommended, one way to build your confidence actually and learn how to manage your emotions, detach from the outcome in different ways when it's useful, is to basically do romantic things that most couples do with each other, but to do it by yourself, for the reason of actually rebuilding the relationship with yourself, to actually romance yourself in that sense, that you are dating yourself, you're falling in love again with yourself, not in a narcissistic way or a prideful way, overly prideful or arrogant way, but from a healthy love of who you are, a healthy love of spending time with you, because you're the only person for sure that you will be with for the rest of your life. And at the very end of your life, the rest is unknown. The rest is a variable. So why not make the relationship with yourself the best relationship possible? So that's one big benefit of it. Now, the other big benefit is you get to experience what it's like. So you rebuild the relationship with yourself, but you also get to experience what it's like to not have to have somebody there with you, and to be okay with that, and to enjoy that process. So again, it's a process of being able to detach, and you're becoming more secure by being forced to be by yourself in a good way, in a way that you enjoy, in a way that feels healthy and healing. So I recommend it. I recommend going on a dinner with yourself, a romantic dinner. Go on a dinner cruise with yourself. Go to a luau with yourself. Because, by the way, I did most of this when I was living in Hawaii. So that's why all my Hawaiian references. But find something in your area that's like a very romantic thing that couples tend to do, and maybe go by yourself occasionally. Go do it by yourself. Go to an opera by yourself, or a dance class. You could do a dance class also with other singles there. So some of these more typical couple things, find ways to do on your own. So that's very healing too. So, and then your last piece was, so the space is safe for you and it's safe for him, and understanding the worth of being respectful. Yes, it's very important to be respectful, and understanding these concepts often makes the biggest difference, because once you understand it, it's very hard for you to go back. You at least now realize when a man starts to pull away, oh, this is likely because he's just going into his bear cave. There's a good chance this is just because he's going into his bear cave. He needs to recollect with himself. Even if you haven't physically been together for a while, but you've been messaging for a while. So if you're messaging back and forth on the phone or online, which I don't recommend because it can cause this dynamic to happen when you haven't even connected in person. But if you're messaging back and forth for a while, he may need to take a break from that. He may just need some space to recollect himself and to be okay with it. And when he knows also over time that you're okay with him taking space, that you're not going to freak out, that you accept it in a way, you accept him, now he's actually more likely to come back sooner, because men love when they feel accepted by their women, flaws and all. When he feels that you accept him for everything about who he is, and you want it to be authentic, you don't need to fake it, but you can look at those things about him that you really admire, you respect, you appreciate, and some of the things you don't really admire and love and respect and appreciate, but you can say, I accept you for being a flawed human being, as I am. I accept you for being perfectly imperfect, and I'm perfectly imperfect, And that's okay. We're two imperfectly perfect humans coming together and living this game of life. So I accept you for that. And when he feels accepted by you in that sense, he's going to likely want to spend a lot more time with you, because acceptance is closely related to respect. And so acceptance is a huge piece of it. So a man will come closer sooner when he feels that from you. All right. And then we have Scarlett said, we don't have any problems or issues. We're planning to get married next year. He did not block me on Facebook until this moment. Okay, that's very interesting. You're planning to get married next year. Well, I hope you've met him in person, because that sounds a little bit like an online scam. So I hope you're not just talking to him online and this is a real person you've met in real life, or at least had a Zoom call with. Then yeah, that is very strange. If you're planning to get married and now he's drifted away for 2 months, it's a lot of red flags there. So I would be very concerned. And yeah, if it's just online relationship, it's probably a scammer, unfortunately, but hopefully not. All right, and then let's see. I have. I'll answer one more question here. So Pamela said, "So hard to do when you're healing through so much hurt. Such wise words. Thank you. Appreciate the blessing." Yeah, and that's part of the healing, is allowing yourself to have space in this moment. Allowing yourself to feel your emotions, to cry, to scream into a pillow, to punch the pillow, to get angry, to get frustrated, to get confused, to get anxious, to get fearful, to get sad again. Like, let yourself cycle through those feelings, because that's part of your feminine cyclical nature. The feminine energy is moving through these different phases, just like water will turn into ice and will turn into rain and will turn into the ocean. You need to be able to change like that, change like the weather. It's okay. That's your feminine essence. So feel the pain, let it hurt. There was an old quote I love, which is, let it hurt and let it go. So just like let it hurt and then let it go. Let it go through you. Like, just don't be attached to it. The more you resist feeling emotions, oftentimes, for one, it's masculine to do that. But for two, it's actually more likely that they will persist. Remember that old saying, what you resist persists? So don't resist your feelings. Let them flow through you. Let yourself grieve. It may take some time. It may take some investment into yourself, some self-care, like what you're doing here. But eventually things will start to get better, and you will be meeting new men as well. Like, new men will come into your life, high quality men, especially with you using what you're learning from us here. So much love. Hope this was helpful. Again, if you want to take this to the next level, learn our advanced principles of magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, to get to the man, the love, the relationship that you want with him, then make sure to take our free quiz by clicking the link in the description or comments below, or you can also go to magnetizeyourman.com, our website, and we'll customize this and personalize it just for you in your specific situation and get you individual coaching you need to actually have that relationship of your dreams that lasts for the rest of your life with him. So it's all possible. It's all possible once you believe and once you start taking that step of a thousand